Srimate Shankaracharya, Srimate Advaita Shaktaye, Namos Advaita Siddhanta, Sthapanopataka Moktaye, Shri Harim Paramanandam, Sadguru Upadeshtaramishwaram, Vyapakam Sarvalokanam, Karanam Tam Namaamyaham, Aparokṣānubhūti-Class-30.Sl.65-68 Moksha-Siddhaye, Sadbhireva Prayatnena Vikshaniya Muhurmuhu. So, for the concept of Brahman alone appearing as the world and the body-mind complex, lot of analogies were given, and that idea is being continued. That topic is being continued in the rest of the shlokas also in this section. So 65th shloka we have to take up now. Sarvopi, Radhana.
Sarvopi vyavaharastu brahmana kriyate janaihi ajnananna vijananti mrudevahi gatadikam. Sarvam api, all also, vyavaharatu, transactions as far brahmana, through Brahman, kriyate, undertaken or done. Janaihi, by people, ajnanat na vijananti, due to ignorance they do not know. Mrut eva, mud alone, he indeed, ghatadikam, pot and so on.
So here he is summing up all the activities, whether it is religious or worldly, everything that is happening in this world is being performed by Brahman, and the objects that Brahman addresses itself to is also Brahman, and the objects that are involved in the transactions are also Brahman. So the best analogy for that will be the dream example, where a person has the dream experience where he sees himself and he sees so many other beings also, whether they are insentient or sentient, and there is lot of activity, events taking place, and as a result of those, there are emotions also which are expressed within the dream also. So all that is actually dream only. It is there is nothing apart from the dreamer's mind that is what goes into the makeup of all these things. The persons, the objects, the activities, the results of those activities, the emotions, everything is the transformation of mind only from one angle. From another point of view, it can be said that everything is a transformation of consciousness. So in the same way here also the shloka says, Sarvopi vyavaharastu brahmana kriyate janaihi ajnanat na vijananti. Out of ignorance, this is not known. This fact is not known. The analogy given there is mrudevahi gatadikam. So mrut eva, mrut is clay. All the clay products are actually nothing but clay. In the same way, everything in this world, that is, in the world means we shouldn't limit it to just the objects, but all the events also, and everything and everybody involved in that transaction in the world is actually Brahman alone in those many forms. So the Acharya says in the commentary, Nano yatrahi dvaitamiva bhavati ityadi shrutyartha darshanena avasthatraya Videha moksha uktau natu jivan mokshaha iti ashankyaha. See, in a few verses before, we had taken up the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, where the one Upanishad, that is that one passage of the Upanishad itself gives the state of ignorance and also the state of release. So in the state of ignorance, what is happening, how it's happening, and in the state of release, what is actually nothing is happening really. So this contrast was given in the Upanishad itself. So the question now arises, on the basis of this Upanishadic passage, Yatra hi dvaitamiva bhavati, tatra itara itaram pashyati, itara itaram vijanati. So this kind of series was mentioned there. So whenever there is a semblance of Dvaita, Dvaitamiva, there is no Dvaita really, but then wherever it appears to be Dvaita, then we see that there is a subject, object, predicate transaction activity. Triputi activity is there. There is a person who does something. There is an activity is happening, and there is an object on which this action is happening. So this kind of triputi is there whenever there is a semblance of Dvaitam. But then when a person realizes that everything is Atman, there is nothing apart from Atman, then there is no subject-object predicate activity or triputi vyavahara involved. Everything is simply known to be Atman alone, and everything is realized to be only an appearance, but nothing really is happening. So on that passage, a question arises. Okay, you have from that Shruti passage, we understand that there are two states. That is, one is avasthatraya, that is the normal three states, that is waking, dream, and sleep states, where this kind of thing happens. And the other one is, the other extreme is videha mukti. There is no person involved at all. That is, there is no jnani here at all. There is everything for him has come to a close. That is, there is no jnani at all. There is no body-mind complex of the jnani also. So there's no activity also which is taking place. So or there is nobody to even see that nothing is happening. So this kind of a situation is there, but no Jivan Mukti is mentioned there. So as long as a person is ignorant, he will be in the conception or the mistaken understanding that something is happening. But then when he realizes that everything is Atman, he realizes that nothing is happening. But then that state of nothing is happening can be thought of only when the knower itself, the jnani himself is not there, in his body-mind complex is not there, itself is not there. But what about a situation where a person has realized the truth, but he is not yet, the body is not yet dead. So that is the question taken up here. And as a reply to that question, this shloka is giving us an idea of how it happens, how it is viewed by a Jivan Mukta. So sarvaiti, sarvopi laukikaha vaidikascha. So all activities, both of the religious, that is the scripture ordained activities, and the worldly activities, all of them are covered in this word sarva. Sarvopi vyavaharaha. So Shesham Spartam, ayam bhavaha ajnana nivrittireva jivan muktihi natu dvaita adarshanamiti. So he is giving a very important doctrinal point of the Advaita Vedanta, that the what is called jivan mukti is only the cessation of ignorance, but it is not to be understood to be the disappearance of the world. So the world is not, there is no requirement that the world should disappear for this kind of a realization to happen. It is enough if the realization that the avidya, that the realization that there is no real activity happening, there is no real world at all, but then for this, the world need not disappear. So that is the idea. So everything is in the understanding only, everything is in the mental level only, but it's not in the converted in the physical level. So actually for such a person, there is no distinction between mental and physical also. But then from the onlooker's point of view, we have to say that the jnani realizes everything to be Brahman alone, but then the world doesn't disappear. Physically, the world doesn't disappear. So that is the idea conveyed in this shloka. Sarvopi vyavaharastu brahmana kriyate janaihi ajnanat na vijananti mudeva mridevahi gatadikam. So janaihi vyavaharaha kriyate. All people perform all actions with what? With Brahman alone. So the person, if any person is doing any activity, he is actually doing that activity with Brahman, not realizing that he is also Brahman. So if he is giving something to somebody, that giving activity is also Brahman, the one who receives it is also Brahman, and what is given is also Brahman, and the one who gives it also is Brahman. So all these things are Brahman alone. That is the ultimate teaching of the Vedanta. So for this kind of thing to happen, the world need not disappear. It is enough if it is sufficient that the person realizes that everything is Brahman and really there's nothing happening at all. So we can just take up the next few shlokas also, where a lot of clarification is made available to us in the following shlokas. Karya
karanata nityamaste gata mrudhoryata tathaiva shruti yuktibhyam prapancha brahmanoriha. Karya karanata, relationship of effect and cause, nityam, always, aste, there is. Gatam mrudoho, between pot and mud. Yatha, as, tatha, so too, eva, also, shruti yuktibhyam, by scriptures and logic, prapancha brahmano, between the world and the Brahman, iha, here.
So here the idea of the non-difference between the cause and effect, that is what is the underlying logic, and which is also enunciated by the Shruti, on the basis of which this whole system of Vedanta is built up. So here the shloka simply says, Karya karanata nityam aste gatamridor yatha. So between the pot and the clay, there is a relationship, and that relationship is the as a cause and effect. So the clay is the cause and the effect is the pot. Tathaiva shruti yuktibhyam prapancha brahmanoriva. In the same way, with the help of the Shruti and with the help of logic, we have come to the conclusion that there is this kind of a cause-effect relationship between Brahman and the world. So in the commentary, the Acharya says, Tatra hetum sadrishtantamaha. That is for the fact that everything is happening in the realm of Brahman alone. And in that realm, everything is Brahman, nothing other than Brahman is there. For that, the Shruti passage is first given. Yatha Somya ekena mritpindena sarvam mrinmayam vijnanam syat ityadi Shrutihi. So this is the Shruti passage which is in the Chandogya Upanishad, 6th chapter, where the Shvetaketu Uddalaka dialogue happens, and there is the teaching of Brahma Vidya, where the Tattvamasi Mahavakya is there. So in that chapter, at the beginning itself, the instruction given to the aspirant is Yatha Somya Ekena Mritpindena Sarvam Mrinmayam Vijnatam Syat. So here, the teaching is, by knowing the cause, all the effects come to be known. So one need not go to examine each and every effect, but when he knows the cause, it's a universal phenomenon. So when the cause is known, all the effects are also known. But then here we have to also remember that when this kind of statement is made, for example, when we consider the gold and ornaments analogy, when it is known that gold is the material cause of all ornaments are known. But then we shouldn't mistake it. We shouldn't mistake this statement to mean that when it is known that gold is the cause of all ornaments, the type of ornaments, the design of ornaments, the weight of each and every ornament, that is known. No, that is not the claim made here at all. So what is stated here is the material cause or the substantial thing in each and every ornament, that is known. So, since this kind of a thing is universal, a person who knows that gold is the cause of all ornaments, nobody will, the Shruti doesn't expect him to know the design and everything in all the places everywhere in the world. No, that is not the idea at all here. So it simply means that when the cause is known, everything substantial in every effect is what is known. So that knowledge alone is what is required here. And the other thing, that is the knowledge about name and form and all that, is actually no knowledge. It is actually ignorance from the standpoint of Vedanta. So the knowledge of those names and forms of each and every effect is not expected at all here. What is expected is, by knowing the cause, the what is substantial in each and every effect, that is what is known. So here in the Shruti passage, Eta Somya Ekena Mritpindena Sarvam Mrinmayam Vignatam Syat. Mritpinda is the clay, the lump of clay with which the clay products are made. So first a person knows what is that lump of clay. So he see, actually the lump of clay is also an effect only, because clay, when you say it is, it has to be found in some form or the other. It could be in a powder form, it could be in lump form and all that. So the word mud or clay or earth also is a form only. It is seen or known only in the form, in some form. And first a person determines that the clay, the lump of clay or the clod of clay, the potter takes first for making pots or making any clay products is actually clay only. Then when that is known, then the effects that are made from this cause are also known to be clay products only, and they are also known to be essentially clay only. So that is the idea. Yatha somya ekena mritpindena sarvam mrinmayam vignatam syat ityadi shruti. Then what is the yukti? What is the logic? Karya karanayoho anyatve ekakara jnanat sarva karya jnanam na syat ityadi. So the logic is, if the since the if it is held that the cause and effect are different from each other, if it is held by someone that the cause is different and the effect is completely different, then this claim that by knowing the cause, by knowing one cause, the knowledge of all the effects of that cause will not be known. So that kind of a situation will arise if if on the first hand, the idea that the cause and effect are non-different is not accepted. So karya karana yoho anyatve, if it is held that the cause and effect are different from each other, then it is not possible for a person to know the effects by knowing the cause. So that is the yukti here. So this is the logic given here. So syad ityadi sukhamam manyate. So karya karanata nityam aste gata mridor yatha tathaiva shruti yuktibhyam prapancha brahmanoriha. So the shruti actually is actually a pramana in the realm of Brahman. But then it is also to drive home that point, it takes the analogy which people in the world know about. So only through that method, the Shruti can teach this. So for that, the Shruti is getting a very convenient analogy in the world itself. So in the Shruti itself, it gives three analogies: clay and clay products, gold and gold products, and iron products. So with these three analogies, Bhagavad says there, the more the analogies, the better the clarity that they get. So that's why more analogies are given there. So in a text like this, we get some more analogies. So in this way, so whenever there is an analogy involved, there is actually a yukti also involved. Actually, in this statement of the Chandogya Upanishad, Yatha Somya Ekena Mritpindena Sarvam Mrinmayam Vignatam Syat, it is actually a statement of the Upanishad. It is actually Shruti. But then the Shruti itself is actually, there is yukti embedded in the Shruti itself. So in the Shruti Vakyam, it plays a dual role. So it is a passage of the Shruti where the yukti pramanam also is given. So the Shruti itself is giving the yukti. So that way, this is the shraddha-drishtanta. It is a drishtanta given by the Shruti itself, which of course it is available in the world also. So we are able to relate to the Shruti teaching through this example. So that is the beauty of this method. Karya karanata nityam aste ghata mridor yatha tathaiva shruti yuktibhyam prapancha brahmanoriha. In the same way, between the world and Brahman, there is a karya karana relationship, and the karanam is Brahman and the karyam is the world. And see, here also there is one more beauty is there. See, Brahman, see in the clay, for example, clay is only one entity, whereas the clay products are many in number. They are infinite, we can say, infinite in number. It's so but then here, the knowledge of only one is sufficient to know everything, to know many. So in the same way here also, in the Darshanik also, the Brahman is one and the world is a bundle of multiplicity. All these things were stated in the earlier part of this text itself. So when the cause is one and the effects are many. So Brahman cause is one, whereas the world, that is the effect, is many in number. We may say that the world, but in one word we can say that everything is the world only, everything is within the world only. But then within the world we see so many things. So it's infinite. But then the Shruti very happily says that when you know Brahman, you would have known the whole world. So here the what is meant by Sarvajnatvam or what is meant by omniscience is this alone in the real terms. In one angle, we will say that Ishvara is omniscient because he knows the background and karma of all the jivas. But then here, that kind of omniscience is not meant here. Here, the omniscience meant that is intended here is the by knowing the cause, the knowledge of the entire gamut of the effect is known. So that kind of omniscience is what is required, and that is the one which removes ignorance, and that knowledge alone gives liberation from the bondage of the few people here. So here in this shloka, we have got so much of Vedanta packed. You have next to please. Krishyamane.
Krishyamane ghate yadvan vrittika bhati vaibalat vikshyamane prapancheti brahmaiva bhati bhasuram. Krishyamane ghate. When a pot is seen, yadvat, just as mrittika bhati, mud shines, that is seen. Why indeed? Balat, powerfully, vikshyamane prapanche, when the world is seen, api also, brahma eva, Brahman alone, abhati, shines, that is seen, bhasuram, ever effulgent.
Now, so here the Acharya is giving us a he's giving us a very, very tough benchmark. It will be tough because the Acharya thinks that he takes for granted a person who comes to this level should be able to appreciate this situation here. So the situation is that Grihyamane ghate yadvat mrittika bhati vai balat. So the idea is when you encounter a pot or you take a pot in your hand, what should come most primarily, what should be most glaring to a person is the clay item, clay part of it, clay amsha. But then what happens in the world is the clay item, the clay aspect is pushed to the background. It is simply ignored, or it is simply not considered at all, but only the design, the decoration and the painting and all that, that alone is appreciated. So that only comes to the forefront. The what is essential there, that goes to the background, but what is non-essential, what is trivial from the standpoint of tattva jignasa, that alone is being appreciated. So Grihyamane ghate yadvat vrittika bhati vai balat. So when a pot is encountered, ideally the clay alone has to be appreciated, or clay alone is to be recognized. And in the same way, Vikshyamane prapanchepi brahmaiva abhati bhasuram. So in the same way, when the world is seen or the world is encountered, when a person encounters the world, when a person encounters objects and persons in the world, what has to come to the fore is the Brahman aspect only. But unfortunately, what happens is the non-Brahman, Anatma, that is what is being appreciated, and the transactions, everything is centered on that only. So the essential thing is forgotten, or it is ignored, or it is not known at all, first of all. But what is inessential, that alone is being given so much of importance. So Grihyamane ghate yadvat mrittika bhati vai balat Vikshyamane prapanchepi brahmaiva abhati bhasuram. So he uses the word bhasuram to show that Brahman is the most prominent thing. But then that most prominent thing is completely shunned to the background, ignored totally, and that is the most unfortunate thing. So Karya Karanayoho Ananyatvameva दृष्टान्तेन स्पष्टयति गृह्यमाणे इति. So भासुरं प्रमाणनिरपेक्षतया एव भासनशीलं स्पष्टमन्यते. So भासुरं means प्रमाणनिरपेक्षतया एव. So see here the word Bhasuram, he brings out the importance of this word. He says Pramana-nirapekshataya eva bhasanashilam, without the need for any pramana. See, pramana is actually means for knowing something. If we have to appreciate shape, we have to have the use the organ eye. So if we have to appreciate some smell, we have to use the organ of smell, the nose. But then here, in the same way, here, if we have to appreciate Brahman, we have to use the Shruti Pramana and then the Anubhava Pramana. But then here, without all those things, straight away this Brahman is what is shining, but that is not known at all. So that unfortunately, that is not known at all. So that's the point he is making in a veiled manner. Although he is making a statement that when the world is seen, Brahman is what is seen, but then he is also making a veiled statement that this is not happening really because of inadequate sadhana or totally inadequate or totally absent information from the Shruti. Okay, next Sadaivatma.
Sadaivatma vishuddhosti ह्यशुद्धो भाति वै सदा यथैव द्विविधा रज्जुर्ज्ञानिनो निशम्. Sada eva, always Atma, the self, Vishuddha, pure, api, even though he indeed Ashuddha, impure, Bhati, appears. Why indeed? Sada, always, Yatha eva, just as, Dvividha, in two different ways, Rajju, a rope, Jnaninaha, by the wise, Ajnaninaha, by the ignorant, Anisham, incessantly.
So he's giving the situation which is prevailing in the ignorant state, and by contrasting it with the situation of the realized state. So Sadaiva Atma Vishuddhosti, there is a reading, alternate reading, Vishuddho api, Hi Ashuddho Bhati Vai Sada. So always the Atman by default, it is inherently pure always, but then it is seen or it is experienced always as impure. In the sense, what is impurity here? The impurity is the body-mind complex or the that which is superimposed on it. The pure aspect is there without the superimposition of Atman as it is. So Atman as it is always pure. Even though it is that such is the situation, it is seen with all the superimpositions, with all the adhyasa, ashuddhaha bhati vai sada. Yathaiva dvividha rajjuhu jnaninaha ajnaninaha anisham. So for this he is giving an example for the person who knows that there is that what lies in front is a rope alone. For him, he doesn't see the snake at all there because he doesn't have the adhyasa, he doesn't have the error there. He has clearly seen the rope, which is with the pramana, that is the eye. There is no confusion for him. But then for someone who is confused, for someone who is not seeing the rope as rope, but he sees the rope as snake, for him, the whole thing changes for him. In the sense, for him, there is fear, there is confusion, there is so much of agony that he experiences. Whereas for a person who doesn't see a snake in the place of a rope, for him, all these things are not there at all. So that is the difference between the person who is ignorant and the person who is knowledgeable or who is informed or who is having the right vision and the person with the wrong vision. So here the commentary is a bit lengthy. A lot of points are being stated here. We will take this up in the take up the commentary in the next class and end this session here. Shri Harim Paramanandam Upadeshtaram Ishwaram Vyapakam Sarvalokanam Karanam Tam Namamyaham Aparokṣānubhūti Prochate Moksha Siddhaye Sadbhireva Prayatnena Vikshaniya Mukunubhu Shastram Sharira Mimamsa Devastu Parameshwaraha Acharya Shankaracharya Santume Janmanirmi विद्याविनय संपन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विदुषेखर भारती. ओम तत्सत्. Happy Shankar Jayanti for all of you.